All right. Now we're all live.
Awesome.
Do you want to do the intro this time?
Yeah, I'll go for it. Okay. What's up, everybody? Today we're pair streaming. I'm here with Brooks. Brooks here with me. My name is Kale. And today we're going to be doing some PHP and Laravel and hopefully some Vue in there as well. We're going to be working on this project that we started 3 weeks ago, I think it was. We're just working on this streamer schedule page, and it's going to be a tool for streamers, and it's going to help them with their streams. And I'm being very vague because I didn't want to ramble on, but now I'm rambling on, so we're good.
Absolutely, yeah. So the idea for this is we're going to be creating a page that we can link to in our stream descriptions that will show the schedule that we have. And we'll also put in our overlay pages there too, so that way we can set our OBSs to display those over our streams.
Sweet.
So we've been working on getting everything set up so we can get this basic default template. But let's go over what we did last time.
I remember that. I remember telling myself, hey, I need to purge these routes, and then I didn't. I remember that.
All right. Well, let's. This is not. I want to create a new shell. Share terminal. Okay, so we want to restart. We want to start up the server again. Do you remember that command?
I think. Wait, how did you give me authority before I requested?
I figured out the way to start a terminal and share it automatically.
Snap. Okay. Seems like you've been doing your research, but I have not. And here it is so far. Yes. Everything's looking snazzy.
I mean, it looks pretty ugly because we have no CSS.
I totally agree. Actually, I was gonna take that bag right as I said that, but I started sipping water.
Okay, so what we want, in order to create a basic template, we need to actually have the data that we want to play, and it looks like we have figured that out. I think that's what we did last time. Is we determined that these are the types of things that we're going to display, and then the templates are going to display it in different ways.
Okay, sweet. I remember we had a bunch of notes to describe what the data types were. How is it going to fit into the database? I remember going over that.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll have to figure that part out too. Right now, we don't really have that in database, and I'm not actually sure it's that important right this second. I've always found that, or more recently in my career, I've discovered that building the front end part first and then building the back end after that is actually the best way to go for me, because if I have to change anything, it doesn't require a complicated front end change or a sort of expensive database change.
Mm. See, that makes sense. I
Yeah, so
agree.
many teams and so many people want to basically speed things up by doing both the back end and the front end at the same time. But I mean, oftentimes it ends up complicating things because you set up a database, which is very hard to change. And then you later on discover that you didn't know everything because we're human. Also, it says you left the
Yeah, yeah.
collaboration session.
I did. I was just trying to restart it. I'm not seeing any files in my there we go. Now I see the files. Okay,
All right,
sweet.
awesome.
Everything's good now.
So what I'm thinking is let's go over. I think I also discovered that under live share on the left, um, under participants, you
Yes.
can there's like a circle next to my name, I
Oh
believe.
yeah. So I'm pinned right now, right? Okay, I'm unpinned. Okay, yeah, that
If
makes sense.
if
So
you
right now
if
I'm
you
just
make
following you.
yeah, so if you make the circle full, I think that when I do something like this and come to the standard schedule component, it just brings you with me.
Yep, yep.
All
I'm
right.
just kind of pinned.
Perfect. You can still obviously do stuff. It's just it's gonna you're following me now. Uh, what I'm thinking is today that would be really good for us to work on is get this page, which this page is what we're displaying in our browsers right now. Get this to look the way we want to for one of the templates, and we can switch to another template later if like I mean we're going to be adding more templates, but getting one to work I think
Right.
is would be a great goal for today.
Okay. Well, how do we want it to look then? I guess is the next question.
Well, so because we can do multiple, do you have a preference for yours?
I mean, I've got like a vague idea in my head, I guess, that I could just kind of go with.
Yeah, let's do that then.
So independently, we'll just work on it then.
Well, I think I'll stick here with yours. I'm going to switch to pinning to you, and let's use the data that we have here, but set it up in a way we want it to.
Okay. What would that include?
Well,
Oh,
so
I
I
guess a
mean,
bunch of divs or something.
well, I guess let's start with what do you want like a header or like how do you want it to look?
Um, I first and foremost, I think we should add some margins just to see what we're looking at. I don't have like a full idea. It's just kind of like ways to make it look nicer. um,
All right, well then
so I
let's
guess the first thing to do, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but where would we put that? Like, are we planning on using Bootstrap
well, so we
or
can
what?
definitely use Bootstrap if we want to. Right now, we don't have Bootstrap in here, or in fact, we don't have any CSS libraries at all.
Okay.
And
So
down
where
at the
would we
bottom,
put our CSS?
great question. Down at the bottom, we can add in a script tag.
Interesting.
Sorry, not script, a style tag.
Style. Okay, yeah. I was thinking. Uh, so just like that.
Yeah, just like this.
So we'll do this inline for now, and maybe move it elsewhere later or something.
Well, yeah, and so there's a couple different philosophies with Vue.js. One of them is that we can create the styles and put them in this component, so that way all of the everything about this component is here in this one file.
Okay. So we'll just go for it then.
Yeah, let's just go for putting everything right here. That way we can share this template, or we can copy it and then make changes really easily. We don't have to copy multiple files.
All right then. So what I'm gonna do real quick is, is class or do I have to use? We'll go for class. We'll try class first. Class equals. I'm just gonna try to put some margins around everything. Just kind of center it, not centered, but just smush it to the middle so that it's not all the way to the left. So I guess that yeah. Let's go for this. I'm just gonna try to target it first. So if I kind of go like that, then is that going to work for us? Okay,
Well,
no.
so if you notice, if you try to refresh, nothing happens. But the reason isn't because this
No
does or
red
doesn't
background.
work. It's actually because we need to compile this code.
Oh, right. Okay.
So let me create another shared terminal. All right, you have another
And
shared terminal.
what was it? What was it? Hang on. It's in the package. Okay, yeah, okay. Is this gonna do the thing that I wanted to do? Let's see.
I believe it is. Yeah, so we're using Webpack here, which is, it's the same Webpack that React uses. It might be configured slightly differently in this case, but it's going to compile our Vue code and make it available for us.
Okay. And I was seeing
And
something about sass. Does it have sass built in? Oh, no. You said we had no markup libraries.
well, so Sass and a CSS library are slightly different things in my mind. Like a Sass is a CSS
Yeah,
uh, compiler or preprocessor.
transpiler or whatever.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
there's an entire philosophy with component-based development where you're not supposed to have like a centralized style for your application because that relies upon certain components existing or not.
Okay.
So if you need to create like
Okay,
a
sweet.
style for a button,
So, sorry. I think we're drifting away again. Do you want to see if we can try the Slack call again? I don't know if it'll
yeah,
work this time,
we
but
we could try it. We tried right beforehand and it just
let's see.
totally didn't work. Let's come here.
I'm gonna open up Chrome because it only works in Chrome for me.
Hey, that worked. Okay, let me cancel the other call.
Okay, hang on one second though.
I totally cut him off and
Hey, okay.
you know what I never did? I never verified you were actually
Can you hear me?
on your voice was on stream, but it
Hang
looks like
on.
it's working.
I don't
Perfect.
know. I can't hear you. Let's see.
Uh-oh. Let me make sure
Do you,
settings are right.
communications. This should be.
Yeti microphone. All right, that's all looking good.
Here we go. Okay. Sorry, I had to change a setting on my Chrome. Okay, there we go. Maybe it was because I was snoozed, or maybe you were snoozed, or something that first time.
Yeah, that might be it because you were snoozed. I don't know if
Okay.
I even go to sleep. I don't sleep.
So does that work now?
Yeah, so give that a try.
Ah, yes. Eye bleeding red.
Right. I think this is excellent. This will be our first component. Let's ship it.
Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna just change it to gray. Is it gray with an A? Okay, A works, I guess.
So notice that this doesn't automatically recompile for us.
Ooh, okay. Run watch. Yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, it gets really, really difficult to communicate when things drift.
I can imagine. Yeah. All right. So we have um, we have our background showing, and we can see that the style is sort of like set up for us.
Yes.
Now there is one thing to do, and I haven't really fully investigated or chatted with other like Vue Vue developers to find out like what the best practice is for this, but you
Hmm.
can scope the style tag to this component, so that way it can't leak over to other components by accident. So we can basically just type in scoped,
Scoped. I
and that
like that.
basically means that if you type in like div, for example, it'll only affect divs in this component.
Ah, I like that a lot.
Now, what you just did right here is a very, 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 very dangerous
Yeah,
thing to do.
I was thinking, don't we have that isn't there an HTML file I should be doing that in instead?
Well, okay, let's take a look. What so you we want to just affect the entire application, right? So what component is the most top level component, and we can put the style in there.
App. I'd say app.js. Do we have something in here?
So app.js actually has no template or HTML associated with it.
Okay. So, I mean, the ones we created, are those high enough? Like I'm maybe one of these then?
At, let's see, landing component,
Oh,
schedule
view
component.
router. Isn't
Well,
that the top level?
it's a component, but it's not an actual display component. It's doing
Okay.
some routing stuff for us.
Okay.
I think the big thing here is that we have these routes, right? We have like slash and streamer, um, and we don't have. Let me see. Where's our? We have our index.js in. Is it in public? Oh no, our we have. Is it landing? Yeah, we have landing.blade.php.
Landing.blade.php. Okay. Let's see. That's in public, you
It's
said.
actually not in public. It's
Actually, I'm just gonna, yeah, okay, I'm here now. So this is where we should put the style.
right. And this is going to be a completely standard system of doing CSS. So this is the old fashioned style. So we could put like a style tag in the head, or we could just do an external file for it.
I would like an external file. I don't know. It just kind of, well, I don't know. Yeah, let's go for an external file.
All right.
Let's do that.
So instead of in views, so we don't need like it's going to be in resources. That's where we're going to create this.
Okay.
So we can put it in sass. So in this case, it can be, for example, app.scss.
Interesting.
This was all generated for us when we did that Laravel new.
Okay.
So in this case, we don't need any of these unless we actually want them.
So I don't know if we do.
We don't
Would it
need
be
it.
cool
We
to
could
have
just
them?
restart.
Okay. Let's do that then. What I keep exiting out of what I'm in on accident. There we go. Okay. There. See, this is going to be interesting. What is this sass folder? Is that for like if you want a global styling?
Right. Yes.
Huh, that makes things more awkward.
Well, it's I mean, we can create other files in this folder, and it will auto compile to a very specific location. So we can go take a look at where this is going to go. It's going to go into public CSS, and then the name of the file that we put it in. So in this case, app.css,
Okay.
which is
Public
empty right
CSS
now.
app.css. Okay. Um. So if we, I don't. Huh. I'm gonna look at the code that they had written there. Oh wait. Yeah. So they just kind of they imported variables. So are we going to be writing this in a .scss file, in a sass file?
I mean, so SCSS is a superset of CSS, meaning that you can just write normal CSS and ignore the sass part of it, and you're fine.
Okay.
In fact, our file is going to be so simple that we're probably not going to really care.
Yeah, okay. Um, so if I just like they've got a font there. Maybe we actually want that font, but whatever. Let's get rid of it. So this thing, this one right here, does this mean like if I delete whatever is in underscore variables, can I say something like this?
Well, so we don't want to actually put um, we don't want to put real SAS like CSS code in variables.css because that changes like the semantic name of the file. It's expecting anybody who sees this would expect there just to be variables. And how much
So
SAS
can
do you
we just
know?
rename this? Oh, I know like 0. I was
Okay.
hoping just to rename this, just keep the imports as they are so
Oh
that we
well,
know it work.
I don't actually think we need to import anything at all. We could probably just delete the underscore variables
Okay.
and not use them.
Oops.
So here's the really interesting thing about SAS. It allows you to create actual variables.
Like an actual language. That's
Correct.
nice.
Yes. So you could say something like, "Oh, the company red is like light red,"
Okay.
and then you share that as variables across the entire company. So if you later on decide, "Oh, I actually want to change that to a different shade of red," you just put it in one place and it changes everywhere.
Everywhere. That's nice. I like it.
Right. And you can almost think of this as we're starting to think in component terms before we had really started using components in the front end.
Okay. So if I wanted to make a variable, I kind of saw it, but yeah, let's get rid of that. If I want to create like color A for whatever reason, I don't know what the let's try this. Sass variable.
Are you searching up SAS variables?
Yeah, I'm just kind of there we go. Okay, I see. It's not equal sign. If I just do color A, let's make that FFOOFF. That looks like it worked.
Yeah, no, I mean that's how it works. And then later on you can say you can use that.
That's really interesting. So if I'm in standard, like, what if I just try to do this? I don't feel like this is gonna work. Yeah, okay. So that did not. Or what if I go like that? Okay.
Well, so
Uh,
that won't work because you have to import those.
okay.
And then the other thing is that this style tag is standard CSS.
It's just regular. Okay.
It's regular CSS. The sass variables will only work in sass.
So how do we get this assassin?
Well, so we don't really actually care. We don't need to use sass in here because we're using a component-based system on a front end. And it's actually a complete different way of thinking about things. So instead of like a centralized series of CSS files that are going to be used throughout the app, we're actually going to be just tightly coupling specific CSS
With their components.
with the
With
component.
like a
That
single.
it follows the same sort of general idea. If we need to change like how a button works, we could have a button component each with its own CSS, and then we just change it there, and it changes across the site.
Huh, okay. So how if I wanted to make it a specific color though, like a color that matches the rest of the colors. Like I don't want to hard code a specific color. I want to use a variable so that when I change it across all of them. Like essentially, what if I do want to access this? Is that a good idea to access color
Not
A?
Not really, because now you've made your component have an external requirement of that file.
Okay. Okay.
And the idea of components, and although it's not really used very often in this way, is theoretically you could share this with somebody else. And you can say, I have this really awesome component. It's completely self contained. So you don't need anything else. All you need to do is just plug this into your own Vue application and it will work.
Huh. I do. That sounds like a nifty way of going about it. But what if I wanted all my buttons to be green now, or
Well,
something,
we would create a button component.
or like multiple components be? Okay, yeah, okay. So I guess you would just change it within the component. Yeah.
We'd create a button component, and then you can use properties, and because you use React, you've used React, right?
Yes.
So you could use properties to set which color it's going to be.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I guess we don't need this variable, but it's good to know that we can make variables.
Right. And so if you ever working on like a sass application, which is usually going to be something like a back end rendered application, like a much more like old style traditional web application,
Uh-huh.
then sass is extremely helpful.
Okay. Huh.
But let's go ahead and put your margins in here.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is how we do it, if I remember.
Well, so what's the goal? Are you just trying to reset everything so it doesn't have like padding or margin?
Yeah, I mean, like, I see the gray, but I also see the white space. And I don't want that white space there. I want it to be fluid with the edges of the browser.
Like flush right to the edges. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and then we can come back here and change this, sort of like update it whenever we need to.
Okay, great. Let me don't save. It's having some save issues. There we go. Okay. So now if I refresh this,
It
it's
didn't
not
save on
happening.
my side. Let me save the file.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, mine was having trouble for some reason. And I
All right.
guess it didn't trigger the Okay, that did not do as I
Well,
was
and
hoping.
that's because this file is a standard CSS essentially. We need to bring that into the landing page.
Okay. So if we you
So
said it was gonna go to where was it? It was gonna go to public. Where's public? There it is. I found public. Okay. Okay, I'm confused actually.
what's confusing?
I don't. Are you in app.css now?
I
I
am.
think you're into me. Okay. So did we write this?
We did write it. So we wrote this inside of uh, resources sass app.scss.
Oh, okay. So it compiled this over here, is what you're
Right.
saying.
Right. So when we wrote that code and we saved the file, it then compiled it, put the CSS file over here.
Wait, so why isn't it smallified? Is that
Uh,
because
I,
we're in development?
I believe it's because we're in development mode.
Okay. Yeah. I expected it to be crunched up, and I was thinking, well, did I just type this then? Or
Yeah, and
okay.
we don't really have to worry about that right now. We can worry about like making it really, really, really nice for deployment and production later.
Okay. Sounds like a deal then.
All right.
But the thing is that we need to include it. It's not index.php, it was index.blade.php, but where was that? There it is, landing.page, the landing.blade, I think. I think this is the right one.
This is the right
I'm
one.
kind of all over the place. This is really odd. Let me I copy relative path. I'm just gonna do a style. Oh wait, can I Source style source. Whatever.
No, so um, it's CSS is sort of like a different way to bring it into a
Oh,
website.
okay. I
It's
forgot the way to do that though. Yeah.
oh, okay. So the different
It's
ways
not
of bringing
source.
external files in. So there's script source. There's
Mhm.
also the link tag.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, link. It was a link, wasn't it?
Right.
I forget. Relative style sheet href. Okay. Why is it like that? Who
Why
decided?
is what like that?
I feel like it would be so much easier just to like, I don't know, what else you would you be linking? I don't think I've ever seen another linking thing
Oh,
apart from CSS.
it's very rare these days, at least. But like you can link completely different styles of files. Also, Twinko, hello, good morning.
I
Um,
want to see your chat.
I can't see your
Let's see.
chat, so
Yeah, nobody's
um,
chatting in my chat anyways.
okay. So for style tags, the best practice is to put that up into the head.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know why, or can you guess?
Well, well, I guess well, okay, so back when I was beginning, I put all of them there because I thought that's just where you put them. It's all where the metadata goes and everything. But then I heard that you should put it at the bottom of the body tag so that your HTML renders and then you get your CSS. Like
Um,
just so it's
Well,
like
so
more.
that's actually the reason why we have the script tags down at the bottom. Uh, so I guess a good way to sort of put this is that HTML is synchronous, meaning that when it loads up into a page, the first line is going to be pulled. So it downloads the entire file,
Right.
and then it reads the first line and executes whatever that line of code says.
Okay.
And it doesn't display, like, doesn't continue doing anything until that line completely finishes. So
Yes.
it's gonna, get the doc type, then it's gonna get the HTML, it's gonna load this head, it's going to set all this char set. These are all commands. So for example, the title is going to be the very first thing that is displayed to the user.
Yes. Okay.
If we do this and put this at the bottom, then what's going to happen is we're going to get the body, and then we're going to get all of this code. Now this router view doesn't do anything, so nothing is going to display to the page at all because there's no text here.
Okay.
Then the script is going to run, and then we're going to get everything displayed to the page. And then this link tag is here, and so it waits until it gets this line before it even attempts to download this link, this file.
Oh, so what you're saying is that if we put it up top, then it'll try the download and then continue, and
Well,
then once you get it, it'll work.
it will download then first. It'll be the first file that gets downloaded besides index.html. And then it will execute it, meaning that it will apply all the styles to the browser. What this really means for us is that our users will never see unstyled HTML if we put it into the head.
Yeah, that sounds like a good deal to me then.
And so it's a choice. It's a choice we have to make as developers. Is the hit that our user has to take from downloading an extra file before they see anything worth them not seeing it quicker?
Huh. So it's one of those tiny little things that can actually like I don't know. It's like it matters, but on the other hand, it doesn't really matter. But if you're a developer yourself, you can tell.
Possibly yes. Although, like, if you have a really good internet connection, you won't tell at all. If you have a really, really terrible internet connection and our app.css file is really large, then it's going to make a difference.
Okay.
But it's one
Right.
of those things where even if it does make a difference, is it important to the brand of whatever we're doing that it looks good?
So like somebody like Apple would probably put it at the top.
Yeah, and you could actually go and look at Apple's source and see whether or not they do that.
I'm
Um,
in.
but it's the idea of like, would it damage Apple's brand if they loaded just plain HTML and then suddenly it snapped into place? Like if you got a flash.
Yeah, I think it would.
So in that case, that's why they're gonna load that one up.
Yeah, they put their at least the style sheets I see. They're all up top. I see like 6 of these. They're all in the head, and I
Yeah.
see none so far in the body. Yep.
And so like, yes, almost everybody does it this way, but it
Mhm.
is, it can be helpful sometimes to understand why we're doing it that way.
Yes, and I agree. The more you described it, it's kind of ugly when it snaps into the like styled version.
Yeah.
Like you see all the unstyled, and then suddenly,
Yeah. Although sometimes I wonder how much it actually does make a difference, because when I see that, I just sort of ignore it.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So we did this, and if we save the file, does it work?
Let's see. Where is? Okay, so we linked it. I don't know if the relative path is gonna work, but yeah, let's try it then. No, it did not. Did I do something incorrectly? App.css seems to be working. I'm gonna look in the network tab and see what's good there. Um, network. Oh wait, not network. Yeah, I guess network. Let me refresh that then. Do we actually pull it in? We do not. Oh wait, we do. We do pull it in.
Yeah, it's a very interesting pull. What did we get?
It looks like absolutely nothing.
Well, we should have gotten something.
Well, I
In
see app.css, but in the response, it's just blank for me.
Oh, is it
Oh,
just?
huh.
Are you looking at the preview response or the actual response?
I was looking at the preview, but I'm looking in the response payload now, and it's not aligning with what I thought it'd be. Our
Yeah.
CSS is actually in HTML, apparently.
Well, which HTML is it?
It seems to be our document HTML, like
Right.
exact.
Right. Why is that?
Did I not specify the style tag perfectly? Oh yeah, it's probably the mime type. How
No,
did I?
no, that's
No.
actually not the problem.
Okay. Don't I have to do like text/CSS or something?
No, I mean, in older browsers you do, but in modern browsers you do not.
Okay, let's see. Let me see. Why would this be happening? Why would we get an HTML document when we want a style sheet? It says cause style sheet, but it says type HTML.
Well, and that's
There,
that's because we got HTML back. We were trying to get CSS, but we failed to do that. How about this? If you go in the URL, and we're going to go to do like localhost 8000, and instead of like your name or my name, we just type random characters and hit return. What do we get?
we get. Well, I mean, it looks like a schedule page, standard schedule page.
Well, and what does that mean?
Well, I guess that means that we're not actually routing much at all.
Well, we're actually doing some routing fun.
But we're not doing it specific to the database. This is just coming up whenever we hit the route of um whenever we hit the streamer route, which is everything but the slash, I guess.
Right. So let's trace this. So this is like a standard debugging uh, pattern here. Let's sort of like trace it in our minds, or even in a code, we can take a look at it. What is happening when I hit like the refresh button or I hit return on any of these routes?
Okay.
And
Well,
take us through each page as like to trace the code.
so when you say each page, you want me to start with the landing page, or like what?
Well, so let's start with like we actually hit refresh or hit the URL and press return. What piece of code in this entire ecosystem gets hit first, as far as you know?
Okay. So I feel like where was it? I'm trying to find it. I know it's like probably like app.php or something. App, not user. I don't think it'd be user. HTTP? No, I don't think that's it. Nope, those are our controllers. I see our controllers, but we're eventually going to hit a streamer controller, so I'm going to keep that open just for this side, just because I found it just then. Um, where is this at? I'm like having trouble like navigating this entire thing.
Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult once you get used to the entire ecosystem for a framework. Then it becomes a little bit simpler. But when you first start out, it can be a little bit tough.
Okay, let's see then. What is in here? Oh yeah, okay. So I'd say this is where I'm most comfortable saying that it begins. I don't know if it's the technical entry point, but
Okay, and that's actually correct. This is the perfect first place to look.
okay, great.
So we have our request comes in, and let's say it's the random characters that we put in.
Yes.
Where does it go?
It goes to our fallback
Right, because like why?
because it wasn't API streamers and it wasn't home.
Okay, so then
And it
what
wasn't
happens?
whatever this registers. So it's going to return our entire Vue payload stuff.
Right, which is
Let's see. It is when we say Vue landing, I'm gonna think that it's gonna come over here and it's gonna look at public or something, or is landing a controller? Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, landing.blade.php. So it's gonna be here, I guess.
yes,
And
and
so I don't know. Is this just not public? Is I thought because it all automatically transpiled into our public folder that it would be
well,
accessible, you know?
so good question. Why? So knowing that like putting random characters in after localhost 8000 would give us this file, and we now understand why. Can we now sort of bring that logic over and understand
Oh.
why this is giving us the HTML and not what we expect?
Oh wow. Okay. I think I So if we try to do so essentially what it's doing is it's coming over here and it's putting public CSS app.css after our local host, right? Or is it?
Right. And
Okay.
actually, we can tell if you go back to Chrome and you go to the network tab
Yes.
and you go to headers, you can see the request URL.
Yes. So that makes sense. That's funny. Okay. And if it's almost like a loop, but I guess it ends there because I don't
Yes,
get
it
more.
refuses to get it again. But actually, a big part of that is CSS is not an HTML interpreter, so it loads that file up, but it doesn't execute that file.
Yeah. So I'm confused as to why we didn't get like a log in the file. I know it's not anything to do with I with like JavaScript or anything, but like I'd expect it to be like, oh, try loading a resource with improper MIME type.
I actually got that in my console.
You did? Huh, I did not.
Resource interpreted as style sheet, but transferred with MIME type text HTML.
What? Why don't I get that? I want that. hmm. I don't know why I didn't get that. Did I not have? I have all these selected. Okay. I did. I didn't have it all selected. Okay, there. Now I see it. Yep. Dang it! If I had that enabled in the first place, then that would have made a lot of sense. But um, that would have been a hint at least, I guess.
I mean, it's a hint, but it's still like you still need to do that tracing if you don't know
yes,
what's going on.
yes.
So, what can we what do we now know about this problem?
That it's probably going to affect our API slash string. No, it won't because that is hard coded uh
Well,
in our PHP file or
let's
web dev.
stay with the CSS problem.
Okay.
So, what do we now know about the CSS like issue, and can we use that knowledge to fix this problem?
So my understanding of this is that we go to get it and the web.php doesn't see it, so it hands it over to our Vue, which is pretty much just sending pretty much everything apart from the slash, everything to our streamer page. And that's why we're getting the streamer page when we request a CSS file.
Right. Yes. Um, let's take a look at our landing.blade again,
Landing.blade. There we go.
because
Okay.
our scripts are working. Let's see what's the difference between our URL that we have for link
Oh.
tag.
Oh yeah. Is that all or is there more?
Well, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Oopsies. I've got too many tabs open. There we go. Oh wait. Well, I mean, did it work? I guess I could check here while I'm at it. You know what? I'm just gonna check it. But it looks like it didn't work. Let's just say that.
Why do we say it does not work?
The styling is not there. And
Well, what's the styling that we attempted to put in?
what is the styling that we well, it was a padding 0, margin 0.
Right. On my screen, I have no more padding or margin.
Okay, I'm not seeing that. Yeah. That's weird. Yeah, maybe I need to do like a hard refresh or something. Control F5. Nope, because I was thinking maybe it was the service worker and we're getting those just cached, but
Did your MIME type go away in the console?
it did. So that's good.
And if you go to elements and you click on body in the browser, can you see that body and margin padding now have 0 as their values?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Okay.
Does
so
it say
did
that
work.
app.css one? Yeah, so it worked. You just didn't recognize that it's now a 0.
Wait, what? I thought that fixed the white bar up there.
Do you know why we have a white bar at top?
Have we got? Is there like? Hang on. Let's see. Let's do some CSS inspecting. So we've got body. Body is the one that. Okay. HTML. HTML seems to be the culprit. I feel like we need to add some 0 margin there.
Right. And so therein lies that my question earlier was, What was the goal of that margin reset? Was it just for the body or is it for everything?
I guess everything then.
Do you want to use a full reset?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Let's go and find a CSS reset file.
CSS Reset. Um, I'm just gonna search reset. Okay, I see a lot of preset. I see reset password. App.js. Nope.
There's a few
Play.
different ones. I don't know if they actually like it. It really matters which specific ones you use. I often use the Meyer Web one.
Oh, is this like what are you looking at exactly?
I will send you
Oh, Eric Meyer? Wait.
there. I sent it to you on Slack.
Okay, great. Meyer Web. Oh, interesting. I think we might be looking at the same one, but a different. So it's just a very basic boilerplate that just quote unquote resets everything.
Right, and there's actually it's slightly less important
Oh,
now to use these.
yeah. Okay.
But the big reason we might want to use a CSS reset is because every single browser has a default CSS style for everything. Like, for example, native buttons in Microsoft Edge look differently than in Mozilla
Mhm.
Firefox or in Google Chrome.
Yes.
This goes through and says everything is now going to look and act exactly the same. So we've just reset everything. And now it's our job as developers to sort of make everything work. So it's going to be more work for us because there's no automated styles. But now it's going to look consistent across all browsers.
And the automated styles weren't even that good in the first place.
Although we can get used to them.
Okay. How do we would implement this, I guess, by just copy paste.
Yeah, you can, for example, copy paste this into that
App.
app.scss file.
Now, if I do that and then I save it, what's this gonna look like? I want to see. I want to see a reset CSS file. Oh, I'm having trouble navigating to the correct one. Oopsies! I didn't mean to do that. Ah, let me do that again. That was really weird.
Yeah, making sure that you're in the correct window when you start doing pressing keyboard commands can be important.
Well, I was like holding down Alt Tab and I was trying to tab and then I accidentally clicked on the console or something. And then it just pasted a bunch of Control C's in there. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. So, ooh, interesting. It's all right. I mean, I think that's a great layout. Let's ship it.
So yeah, this is what it does. It does a true reset. Every single header, paragraph, div, span, everything now looks exactly the same.
I would have expected. Okay, I guess it makes sense. It's not like making everything literally looking the same on the page, but it's going to look the same on different browsers. So I was thinking the link tags would look like the text without underline, but
Oh, yeah. So no, it's resetting to like we could actually take a look at what this is doing for us. Um it's it is not like it is not going to like make they could have made the link tags have nothing at all. But what it really is just a reset to be consistent with each other. Uh
okay.
And if you read the rest of the document, it actually suggests that we now make changes here. So we don't like reset it to nothing and then set more HTML, or sorry, more CSS to change the styling of the HTML. It's more of, hey, do you want your H1s to all be like a consistent something? You can put that here. Or we can do that in components, which is actually a great place to put that.
Yeah, I think we should do it in components.
All right, so we'll do that.
So, let's see. Don't say. So we'll be in this file for a while. We're gonna make it look pretty, I guess.
Right, we want to make it look pretty, and we'll just use your style, like the suggestions that you have for your own stream schedule page first, and then I could do mine later.
Okay, great. Do we want to keep the hello there? I don't know if we want to keep that.
This is we don't need that. The hello there was more of like a test, like showing the component off.
Okay, great.
We can get rid of that entire section.
Yeah, I was thinking we have like multiple H1s, and I was thinking, Okay, well, let's do this then. So I've got this div class margins. Maybe I should name it like wrapper or something. I don't really know exactly what I want to name it.
Well, we could, for example, call it main. Like just name
Main.
the tag instead of a div. Just make it a main tag.
Oh, a main tag. Okay, I like that idea. I don't know an easy way to do that, so I'll just do it manually. And come over here and main. There we go. So main. I don't really want the background to be gray. Do you mind saving this? I'm still having issues saving things.
Saved.
There we go. Okay. And so that still works, hopefully, if I'm not crazy. Okay, great.
Dimitar, you asked like container. That's another like possible one to do. There was like for a long time we did like div class container for everything. I kind of like main now because this is the main content for the page.
Yeah, I this is like HTML5 more semantic tags. The tags are more semantically pleasing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and that's something we can get away with components a lot more.
Sweet. Okay, so in our main, I'd like it to be kind of I want a lot of padding, and usually the way I do that is, well, I would use CSS Grid. I don't know if that's a good idea because then we need kind of like another parent in all this.
What if we had main as the ultimate parent, and then you can put other tags inside?
Okay, so this is the big boy. So if we I don't really know what the actually. Okay.
Dimitar is asking you, Kale, why not use Flexbox instead of Grid?
Well, I mean, I just have more experience with Grid. If I'm put on the spot, I'm gonna use Grid, but I'm down to use Flexbox if that's the better way.
So Flexbox and Grid actually work really well together.
Mhm.
Grid is more about like positioning into a grid. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Flexbox is about like sort of creating elements that sort of move around dynamically and work really well together. And you
Mhm.
can actually mix and match.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I have used Flexbox in with Grid, but usually for my layouts, I just use Grid, and I think that came to bite me in the butt later on. But yeah, let's try Flexbox.
Well, I would say do whatever you feel like with this one because we can play with the other, doing others in other components.
Okay. Well, well then I'll go for it. So if I want the main, I would say grid template. Oh wait. I need to do a display grid, I'm pretty sure. And then grid template columns. If I just do like one FR and then like, I will just make it a third for now. And then we do like, I don't know what to name this, so I'm gonna have it a div, and I'm literally just gonna name it container for now. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this entire thing in a div.container. Oops, container. Let's get rid of this. Let's move it down here, there. Save that. So I'm gonna do grid template column. No, not template. I think it grid column. Yeah, grid column. So I think I would do 0, 1 to 2. And so why can't I save it there? But I could save it just a second ago. That's so weird. Do you mind saving it?
Oh, go ahead. It's saved.
Okay, so this is the first time I've looked at it in a while, and it did not seem to like that.
Now here's the thing. I've been refreshing it. When you had just your main tag and the grid template columns, it actually made it to columns. So you broke it with the attempting to do the math directly in CSS.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that's because you can't do normal math in CSS. Not normally. There actually is a new way to do it. So
Oh. Wait, okay, so you're saying the 1-2, right?
the 1/2 is
I
probably
thought that's
what's
how it
causing it to break. What if you just do 0.5?
Oh no, I'm not trying to like divide or anything. I'm
Oh,
like I'm like wanting it to go from the first and I don't have all my like dev tools up here. So I'm wanting it to span from 1 to 2, but I realize that index start with 1, so it should be 2 to 3.
oh, actually, I am wrong. I didn't. I thought it was math, but it's not. It's
There
different
we go.
stuff. Well, that's what happens when I don't really know grid yet.
I don't know. I just like I honestly I grew up with the grid.
Ah, you're so lucky. I
I
grew up with
know, right?
floats and tables.
Floats and tables. Oh, lovely. So I want that a little bit wider. I mean, that's a bit too wide for me. I don't know. I could play with this all day, but
Let's
I
not
think that's a
worry
good.
about making it perfect right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is good, anyways. So now that we have that, I don't think we need the color in the background anymore. I usually just kind of use the color just to make sure everything's like aligned. But now that it's white, it should be a little bit easier to deal with.
A great way to make sure things are aligned without doing like weird color backgrounds is to use the outline. Um, uh, what is it? The outline CSS rule.
Outline, huh?
Yeah, so main wouldn't necessarily be helpful here, but in the container, we can put something like outline, and it's just like a border. So we can do something like 1 pixel, solid red. We'll save
Mm-hmm.
that.
Refresh. Ah, yes, I see that.
And what's really interesting is that outline doesn't affect the border box. So it's not a border, which will actually take up
Oh,
space and change
yeah.
things around.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Outline is a display only property.
Awesome. So you can keep your backgrounds and it won't look super ugly. You'll just have the red outline.
Right. And that's only if you need that. If we don't need that, we can delete it.
Yeah, right now I don't think I need that. I actually started up my I've got these neat Mozilla, these Firefox display grid line type things,
Oh,
which
nice.
makes it
I
a
do
little
not have
easier.
that.
What are you using? Let's see.
Just
Trying to see.
well, no, I mean I don't have any systems like
Oh,
show.
oh,
I don't have any plugins for that.
oh! I don't either. I think this is just built in.
Ooh, like under. Or
Like,
are you using Firefox to display this?
yes.
That's what it is. I'm using a Chromium, and they do
Okay.
not have a nice CSS debugging system like Firefox
Huh.
does.
Okay. Okay. I'll just flex on it real quick then. Never mind. Okay. Okay. So now that we have the container, I would like schedule to be a bit bigger. Uh, and I'd like to break up each of these articles just so I get a better flow. Um, so if I target the article real quick and I just like uh I just want to kind of space them out first of all and then go from there. So if I go kind of like padding, let's go with margin. And we'll do like 10 pixels on top and then 0. Oh wait. And then 10 pixels on the bottom and then 0. I think that should do it. There's probably a better way of doing this. Oh,
Well,
that did
okay.
not.
So one way to we'll do this, and we'll take a look at how it works.
Okay.
So you did top and bottom margin,
Yes. But
and
it's
a
oh,
shorthand is to basically just do the first two,
just first two? Okay.
and it will repeat these. So it'll say, oh, you want top and right to be 10 and then 0. Well, I'll just figure out that
Make
you want
that.
this to be top, right, and then repeating. So then bottom, left.
Ah, nice. It's
So
nice.
exactly the same happens. It's just like if you say margin 10 pixels, it just assumes top, right, bottom, left
And
are all going to be the
yeah.
same.
Okay. Sweet. So now that we have those spaced out just a little bit, I think I'm gonna focus on schedule. Um, let's see. So schedule is an H1. So we'll make the H1s. We'll just make the let's just do font. Is there okay, so I don't really know. Let's see. Font tag CSS. I always forget like the order. Okay, let's do this. So let's make it two M's. This seems like a reasonable typeface. And they've got a backup in there. But I think it's fine. I don't think we'll need the backup right now. So what does this look like? Interesting. I like how links also came up on us, but this does not look like open sans to me. This looks like it's. I think I will need the backup.
Well, and we can take a look at whether or not it really is open sans, because I think it'll tell us.
Yeah, it should, right? So yeah, it says open sans. Oh wait. Font. Yeah, so it's just using Times New Roman for me. So I guess open sans wasn't a thing there. So I'll keep that open sans. I don't really know what it looks like, so I may just change it to sans serif. And let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. So now it's using Arial. So that's cool.
It'll actually be different depending upon what browser you're using.
And we don't really want that, do we?
Well, again, this is a choice that you, as the developer of this component, have to make. Um, if you're on like Linux, you're getting what it looks like on my screen. If you're on Windows, it looks like what's on your screen, and a Mac gets something else potentially.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to
Okay.
control it fully, you have to use a very specific font. But that might also cause, because either it has to be like a web safe font, or you have to download the font and put it in, which is another download.
Yeah, let's just. I think sans serif saves us the trouble for now. Unless we had a specific font that we want to use, like a specific typeface we want to use throughout the entire thing. I think we should just go with the generics.
All right, let's do it then.
um, so now that schedule and links, those look all right, I guess. It doesn't look much more fancy than regular HTML, so I might see what exactly I'm like trying to think about. So we have this programming for work. I'm gonna look at the articles now. Just kind of jumping around until I like it, I guess. So programming before work, I feel like that could be pretty large. And then I'm thinking kind of everything's just so linear right now. I kind of want things a little bit, some things on the side, but I'm trying to think about. Okay. Think I might have it. I'm gonna make the article another grid. And I don't really have an idea for this yet, but let's try it. So if I do grid templates areas, here we go. I do something like this. If I want the title to occupy 2 top ones, and then maybe I want the description. I'm gonna make these all the same, and then link, and then maybe oopsies, something like. Then we'd put the what's it called? What is that called? The how would I say this? Schedule. So sked. Sked looks good. And honestly, because these are all wait, no, these are a bit different, so we do need to keep those. But then that would kind of require me to so when I do this, let's see what happens. I think it's gonna be really wonky. Yeah, that's not necessarily what I was going for, but we'll get there. So what I was trying to do is I need to add a class to this. So I'm gonna name this title, and then within the title, yeah, I'm just gonna put that here for now. Grid area. I wanna see what you think about this. I don't know if this is a great practice, but this is what I've done before. Now, this also requires me to make a link wrapper. So if I kind of just go like this, and I'll fix that later, but let's go like that. Come down here. Quite an exhaustive way of doing it, in my opinion, but I don't really know another good way of doing it.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know Grid too well, so I don't know if there is a better way of doing it this way.
Mm-hmm.
One potential thing that we could do is put each of these into their own Vue components, and then it abstracts away the wrappers.
Okay. So I'm gonna finish this and just see what it looks like, if I even like it. I don't know if it's gonna look good at all. But
Oh, yeah.
and if we still want to keep this or not.
Wings
And
off Angel. Hello. Do I know something about Docker? Yeah, I've done Docker before, and I think I'm planning on doing some Docker stuff later. Um, but we're not doing that at this time.
oopsies. So schedule and so there, and so this should only style the top one, I'm thinking. Yeah, grid area. Oh, and I spelled that wrong. I'll name it like that, whatever. It's the bottom row. It's not like that. Just add some of that. There we go. Okay. Let's see just how this looks. I'm hoping it. Okay. Yeah. So that didn't turn out as well as I was hoping.
It's not saved properly, so let me save it.
Oh, it isn't? Okay. Well, good. So did you just save it?
I saved it.
Okay. So if I inspect this and I focus on the article and I see what the grid is looking like, ooh, interesting. Hmm, very interesting. Where is the 4 and 5 coming in? Let me see. I'm looking at my layouts and it's so that's that, that's that, that's that. Let's just have it. I mean, very odd, very, very odd. So when I do the grid template areas, it should just do like title, title, description, link, schedule, schedule. But maybe I need to do grid template columns, and I also need to give it a size a little bit. Let's see. Let's see what that looks like. So that did it a little bit better, but I'm still getting these a bunch of extra rows, and it doesn't seem like it's actually like putting the title in where I want it to be, which is very odd. This doesn't seem like the greatest way of doing it. I'm losing hope as it's not working.
Well, so what's the end result? Like, what do you want it to look like?
Well, I was hoping to get the title across the top, the description underneath the title, but on the left, and on the right of that description have the links. And then underneath all that have the schedule.
So, do you mean that it would essentially be a two-column layout?
Yes.
So, like, you have the schedule, then there's two columns with the description and then the links, and then below that you just have the schedule part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. One thing that I'm thinking about is we could also change the order that the HTML is in if necessary. Like we don't need to keep this all in this format.
Okay. And that might simplify things a lot.
Right, because this is just a template. We just created this to store, sort of like figure out what data we wanted. There's nothing saying like it's ours. We can change it.
Oh, oopsies. Hang on. I think I just like figured out the error. Sorry, I was looking. Yeah, okay, so that did it. That works now. But yeah, we could reorder them. The thing is, I usually go off of like I usually draw something and then I go off that to do it.
Mm. Yeah, we can definitely do that in the future because there's nothing saying that we only have to have two layouts. This is more of like a sort of like a practice creating one, and it doesn't matter how it looks because we can create many.
Okay. Um. So I'm gonna make the other one. I'm just like kind of. This is probably terrible because I'm just copy pasting, but I'm hoping that if oh wait, that is not the link wrapper. We don't actually have any links for this, do we? Very interesting. I hope that doesn't break anything. I don't think it will, but let's see. There, description goes there, and then the schedule is this UL. So now both of these should be, yeah, sweet. So it looks all right. What I want to do is if I go into the title for the articles, and honestly, I think you're right. I think we should extrapolate the articles themselves out to another component, but maybe we'll think about that in a little bit. So if I go ahead and do a font, just make it slightly smaller, and we'll just do the same kind of sans serif. Let me save that, and we'll see how that goes. So that's pretty good. The titles are kind of short, so you don't get the full effect of the grid, but that's fine. And the description, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think it looks all right. I don't know exactly like if we want to get like colorful or whatever.
Well, how about this? Let's just keep this as a very, very, very basic, just sort of like a learning component.
Okay.
And then we're going to create more of these based upon what we decide we actually want for our own systems.
Okay. Deal. So if we want to have the functionality of picking different styles, then how do we do that? And maybe I'm thinking a little bit too far ahead, but
Well, the really cool thing is about different styles, each component has its own style scope to it.
so we could make like ooh, would we make separate components for different styles then?
Potentially. So we could, for example, we have the choice of putting everything into one style sheet and not breaking them out into components, or we can break them out into different types of components. So we can say something like, all right, this is the description component, and this is the links component. This is the article component, and we could potentially have different versions of those depending upon which one we want to display.
So like basic, fancy, scary, or just different themes with different styles, or
Potentially, yes. And we could even use properties to determine which classes to add on there. So we don't have to have like 4 different article components, but maybe one article component with a few different choices in it, depending upon what class what property we hand to it.
I like that idea. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now that we have the very basic styling, what's the next step?
Well, so is this how we want it to look like for the basic?
For the basic, I think it'll do.
All right, so I switched over and started using Firefox so I can show that grid too.
Oh yeah.
So now that we have this, we can start thinking about how we can actually use use data for this. So right now everything is just hard coded here, and we don't want that anymore. We want to like start putting this into the data part, so that way we can eventually store all this in the database.
Sweet.
So let's begin by, and probably this will probably take the rest of today's time. Let's begin by putting all of this the content into the script tag, and then we're going to set it up as the actual data.
So hard code this data in the script tag. Oh, you're saying like, okay, yeah. Okay. So add the view part, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, so we're gonna add the view part. So if I go to Vue's website, I'm looking for their sort of like the guide for basic.
I'm gonna go to that too then. View.
Yeah, that's what. No, that's not it. Let's see, where is it?
Okay. Declarative rendering. The core of Vue is a system that enables you to declaratively render. Okay, so that's on a.
I always
That's the Vue
forget where
app.
this is.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's probably not component registration. We want the actual component. Where does it?
Scrimba, huh? Oh shoot! I didn't want to do that. What in the world? Hmm. This is like really interesting. Like, if seen. So span if seen.
Oh, this isn't done the way we're doing it. This is like all front end view. I want the actual component view. Where does it have those examples?
Huh.
So inside of the script tags, we're gonna export an object, and I can't remember if it's just a default object or if it's a named object.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out exactly. All they're doing is creating a bunch of apps. Now it's not
I
really
know
what.
that is one thing that's a little bit sad with the documentation is it's not the way we want it to be.
Mhm. We could pass it in as props for now.
I mean, we could pass in as props, but that's not necessarily what we want to do either.
Okay. Mm, okay. I don't know. This is really odd.
So let's try. Let's see. Will that? That's not what I want either. Oh, maybe it's in. It'd be so nice if the documentation was easy to find it in. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
most documentation I've never really found is easy to find exactly what you want right when you want it.
Let's see.
All right. So one thing that we can do sort of like to play with this is in the script tag, let's export a default object.
So could I just do this?
Yeah, let's try that. And then
Okay.
inside this object, let's create a function called mounted.
Mounted.
So this is a lifecycle method. And we can just
Do we
do
want this type of function? Or
I
just an
mean, we
arrow?
can do that, or we can do an arrow function.
Yeah, let's do an arrow function. I like arrow functions.
And let's have a just console log.
Something like that.
Yeah. And so if you refresh that, do you get the console log message?
Let's see. Oops. Console by refresh. And I need to stop persisting the logs. Yes, I've been mounted right there. Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. So what that means is that we can go back to our component.
Okay. Shoot. See, I exited out because I was getting that saving bug, and that usually fixes it. But now I got to go find it again.
Yep, you can use the Control P to get it.
Control P. Interesting.
Okay,
Oh,
so we don't
recently
really
opened.
need this mounted right now. We can get rid of that.
Okay.
What we can put in here is a data.
So
the key is going to be data, and I can't remember. I don't think it's a function.
You don't think it's a function?
I can never remember if it's a function or if it's just the object.
This looks like a function. It says a component's data option must be a function so that each instance can maintain an independent copy of the return
All right.
data.
Well, then in that case, it's a function. That's going to return an object.
An object. So like that. There we go. So, we don't want that happening. So this is where we'd say like articles or something, right?
Yeah, so we can do, let's do title first.
Well, title, I mean, don't we have multiple titles, right?
I'm thinking more of like the main full schedule title. So we're going to put that in that top H1.
Okay. So title, and we'll just name it streamer schedule, just so we know we have a change.
Right. And now we need to link this to that. So we can use it's standard handlebars.
So title.
Let's try it.
And I'm getting the save error. Dang it.
All right, I will save it.
Okay, there we go. Streamer schedule. Okay, neat.
Yeah, so we have now bound. So this is it's not two-way data binding, but it is like right now it's one-way data binding. So
okay.
This title, if we change for any if this data changes, it'll re-render and change whatever's in this H1 tag title.
Okay.
And so we can put the rest of our data in here and then set up the rest of this in that way. So that way we can have functions that will update this data for us.
Awesome. Okay. So we'll just do it for the rest of them?
Yeah, let's just do it for the rest of them.
So what should I name these? I don't think they should be named articles, but like, what is the idea?
I mean, it could be articles, they could be sections.
No, I mean like semantically, when we're talking about a streaming schedule, what should it be called? Just a schedule? Or an event?
I don't think that there are schedule or event HTML5 tags.
No, I mean like we can keep the tags. It's just like when we create the array in the data object, what key should we have it as?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. So let's we can look at it and decide like what is it?
It feels like an event. So I mean, I created this array. It just says events. I don't know. I feel like that's all right. I guess we could change it later if we really wanted to.
Well, let's keep on with it right now, and if it doesn't make sense, then we can change it. And this is the reason why I suggest that we do the front end first, is because it's a lot easier to change it on the front end than it is on the back end.
Yes. Okay. Sweet. So now that we have one event, this is gonna get interesting once we try to render all of these, but we'll figure that out. So we do have a title for each event. Each event has a title, and we'll name this. I'm gonna name this title 1 just so we know that it's gonna work the first time. And then we have a links. So this would kind of be links, and right now, just right now, I'm just gonna make this a string array. So like, um, so if I do like, watch me on Twitch, just something like that. I really don't think this is gonna be how. I don't think this is how we're gonna have it, but I don't really know how to implement all of that quite yet, and
Well,
I
that's
just want
fine.
to.
We'll take it one step at a time.
Okay. And then we have the description. So um, this is my description. And then after that, then we actually have the schedule. So if I just name it something like stream times, something like that, and each stream time is, I'll just make it a string as well, actually. Yeah. So something like that. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Something like that. So this is just a, ooh, I like how it did that. So I guess that's just a very basic event for now. Probably won't look all that great, but I would like to get the loop in there.
All right, so let's begin sort of writing that. So right now we can create a new tag and sort of leave the previous one there, so
Okay,
we can compare them.
good idea. So on Vue, let's see. So under list rendering, it seems like it's got like a UL and then an LI. Okay. V4 and it says item and items. So interesting. So they just start off with a UL, but they give it an ID for some reason. I don't know if we can get away with no ID, but let's try with no ID, I guess. So they had something like this, V4, and it's yelling at me. I'm gonna do what I'm seeing, but event in events. So what's this angry about? Okay. Require v4 key. So let me try adding that ID. Article list. Okay, so that did not fix it.
Well, so the error, it's actually not an error with Vue itself. It's an error with the linter that we have installed.
Oh, that's why they don't have it on the documentation.
Right. So it wants to have like a very special key, and the way we can fix this is that each event, let's give it a unique key, like an ID.
Okay.
We'll
Good
pretend
idea.
it's come from a database.
So we've got a title. We'll just put ID, and we'll just have it. I don't know.
IDs
Something
from
random.
databases are usually numbers. So we're using a SQL database, so it's probably going to be something like 0 or 1 or
Okay,
um,
great.
yeah. And now we can set that key to that specific ID.
So what was it? V bind key? Was that it? What was it saying? Hang on. What was it saying? V bind key. Yeah. Okay. So
So we can go take a look at like how that works. So if we have where's it?
hey, it did work. Okay.
All right. Well, it likes that. We'll find out whether or not it really likes that later.
Okay. So I'm gonna go like this just to see if it's actually doing what we want it to do. Oops. Okay. Event dot what was it? Title, I think it was. Is that the right? Yes, it is. Do you mind saving this?
All right, we got it saved.
And let's see it. It did work. Did we have any errors in the console?
No errors in the console, so it liked that out too. Now, if we want to go take a look at that and inspect it, we can go look there, and we'll see that. Where is it? Here's this. Where do we have our
I'm gonna see if I can add
V4 is
some.
on the LI. Okay. So it doesn't put like very much information into the LI for us to see in HTML.
Right. It just has that data V and then
Oh, I don't
characters.
have Vue tools installed in Firefox.
Oh, neither do I. I didn't know there was a V tool.
There are Vue tools, just like React tools.
Okay. So I guess I'll just try to add some more then.
Yeah, let's go ahead and add more.
So I think we need the link wrapper just because that's the way I did it in the CSS. But within the link wrapper, I did another list for links. So I might actually want this to be a UL. Keep that class, and then do all the something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll bypass that. I don't even know if I really want to keep this ID right here. It doesn't get angry if I delete it, so I'm just gonna delete it. So let's do an li and v4 again, and we'll do link in links, and then v bind key, and then we'll do this. Can I do that?
Well, oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that worked. This probably isn't a great way of doing it. It probably doesn't like the fact that you use index.
It doesn't
But
like it, but for super simple
yeah.
arrays like this, it's actually fine. In fact,
Okay.
it kind of like it doesn't really matter because Vue can handle super simple arrays and loops through arrays, but our linter doesn't know that is a super simple array.
Okay. So if I refresh, we are not getting the change. I don't think that it actually worked the way I was hoping it to.
Well, so
So
let's take a look at what we did then.
okay.
So we have this link wrapper. We have a v4 link and index. So taking link and index out of links. But where is links coming from?
Oh, in event.links. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try that now. Okay. Yep, that worked. Sweet. Okay, we've got like 8 minutes, but maybe we can finish this entire thing right here. um, so now that we have the links, we now want to do the description, which is very simple. Don't even have to do any funky LIs. How did I mark it up here? So it's just a P. Let's do that. So I did a class description, and then we got to do event.description. There we go. So now description should be working. Yep, that's my description. What's awkward is that the links didn't go over on the right, but I think we can worry about that a little bit later. And schedule. That's the last one. We'll just do the schedule now. So UL, and I'm pretty sure that needs a class there somewhere, but let's go ahead and do an li, and then we'll say v4. Oopsies. v4, and we're gonna, oh wait. How should we say? Date time. We're just gonna call it that. Index, because we need that. And event dot schedule. vbind key is going to be the index. And then now we just kind of render date time. Do you mind saving that for me?
Saved.
There we go. Okay, that didn't work. Event.schedule. Did I name all this correctly? Stream times. I named it stream times. And for some reason I could save that. And so that worked. Sweet. So it looks like it's working pretty well. However, what I think I did is, what was it? We did this UL, we did this LI. I think I need to wrap this in an article.
Well, answer me this. Why are we using a UL and LI at the base of this?
I thought that's how you had to do it.
Well, so you saw it in the documentation for V4, but there's nothing saying that it has to be a UL and LI. In fact, you can turn this LI into an article.
Nice.
And we can remove that.
Remove that. Okay. Oh wait, and we need to close this article. Okay. This is interesting. Why is this a different color than the rest of these bind keys?
It's the same color for me.
Huh. Hey, I mean, it works now, though.
But yeah, so it works. So V4, really, you just put it on any tag, and it will repeat that tag and everything inside of it as often as it needs to.
Okay. So we don't actually need this UL for these stream times. And oh wait, but we did use a UL for those stream times, so I'll just keep that. What didn't we use? I think it was the links. I think we just did p tags.
Right, and so that's the reason why your styling wasn't working, was because you weren't using the same tags.
Oh wait, but I used the classes. I mean, I think the issue was I was using an article, because now it works.
Yeah, now everything is good.
Okay, sweet. Oh yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah, that's what. Okay. Let's see. So I guess what we could do is figure out. I think the first thing is to make these links actual links, real quick. So instead of making it just an array of strings, make it like a little object.
Yeah, an array of objects.
So let's see, how should this work? Is there a way to do this?
We don't want to do that. Not in
Yeah.
here. Think much more simply.
Huh. What I would do is just do like here, text and then link.
Exactly.
Or
Yes. That's
link.
exactly what we want to do here.
But like when you did it, you just linked the Twitch part. And I don't think this will have that functionality, but
Yeah, no, it won't have that exact functionality, but
okay.
we can.
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters that much.
So I'll just make this go to pound for now. Now we're gonna have the interesting routing thing.
I'm gonna
going
add
on.
an ID onto this too.
Oh, an ID. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. So then we don't have to use the index. So if I do that, then we can just do link.id. There we go. So and then within this, we do link.text. So what would we have to do in order to use Vue router for this? Because I remember that being an issue.
Well, is it really going to a Vue router? Because this is going to a completely separate
Yeah.
page. So we can just
So
use an A tag.
we can use an A tag, but I thought
Right.
the href was going to scream at us or something.
Let's try it. Let's see what happens.
Okay. So I always forget. I feel like A tags are just so much more complicated than they need to be. A href. Yeah, okay, sweet. So within this, that's where I'd put that. And then maybe just link dot link to. Let's just name it 2. Link.2 for now. And then I don't know, maybe that'll work for whatever mystery land it does.
Well,
does
it work? Let's inspect that element.
href link.2. Okay, no, it doesn't work. Okay, right. Good. My
so
sanity.
It doesn't work. Well, and that's because you just hard coded link.2, the string link.2.
Well, I mean, some of this seems like a hard-coded string as well, and then I'm like, well, I guess it's not a hard-coded string because it's colorful.
Well, so it's not a hard-coded string. These are variables, and that's because they're inside of a Vue directive v-4, whereas href is an HTML attribute.
So can I do v href? Ooh, is that just gonna work? No, it's not just gonna work.
It's no longer a tag.
Dang it.
Well, the first thing we might think about is, what if you use handlebars?
Okay, yeah, that seems logical too. Let's see. I guess it seems okay. I mean, it comes up colorfully and it underlines the entire thing, which looks interesting. But let's try. It's loading. Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Wait.
Nothing happens, right? We get like literally nothing at all.
Wait, what?
So there's an error in Vue. It really doesn't like these. Handlebars are not allowed to be inside of tags.
Fair enough.
So what we can do is there's a special v-bind that we can do, though.
Shoot.
So
Hang on.
we're
I
actually going to
actually,
replace this entire thing,
okay. Do
and
you
we're going to do
mind
v dash bind.
v dash bind?
Then we need to like bind it to a very specific thing. So it's colon href.
There we go. Okay. Oh, what? Like that? I
That's fine.
accidentally killed the terminal. I don't know if it killed on your side too.
Oh, it's there.
Okay, yeah, I accidentally killed it, but I don't know if I really need it
You can use a control tilde to bring it back
to bring it back. Okay.
and to make it go away.
Well, I mean, I killed it. I literally hit the trash can on it. I was trying to expand it. I was trying to maximize the panel size, but I accidentally
Oh,
just.
mine are still good.
That's
So
weird.
you
I
just
don't know
lost
how to.
access to mine.
Dang it.
Well,
Okay,
they're
I
fine.
shouldn't need to. Yeah,
Let's take a look. Did it work?
it did. Did work. Wait, let me make sure that the href is actually where it's. Yes, yes, it is where it needs to be.
So
And it links.
this is how we now get things that are in data into the attributes for an HTML tag.
Great. I like that way. I guess it's fine. I mean, it looks fine to me, I guess.
Right. And so it's not like React in which you have to do all the work yourself and just say like, hey, it's connected to a function and a function changes. There's a lot less. You write a lot less code, and then Vue does all the work for you.
It's quite nice. I quite like
Yes,
that.
I actually think it is too.
So, I is that all there is to an article?
Pretty much, we can now delete these other articles here
Okay. Wait,
because
hang on though. Do you see how we did a strike through on this one? Do you want to implement that?
well, okay, we could implement that. How would we
Or do we
implement it?
want to just wait?
Let's wait. We could do that next time
Okay, yeah.
because it is after 9.
Okay,
So we'll continue working on this probably next time. Getting
great.
into the database, I'm thinking probably in like 1 or 2 weeks we're going to want to start implementing our like styles for real.
Okay.
So let's think about where we want to put that, like how we want it to look.
Okay. So, are you saying like in the meantime we'll be
Yeah. So in the meantime, if you sketch something on paper or whatever, then when we actually make the real components, we'll know what we want them to look like.
okay, great. Um so real quick um just to finish it off, I'm going to add this and then change this. Let's see if I can speed code this real quick. Okay. V4 and then it should be link in links. vbind key is link.id.
You missed an equal sign.
Shoot. There we go. And then href, we need the vbind colon href, and it's yelling at me for some reason.
Vbind href cannot just be pound. You're going to want it
Yeah.
to.
Link.to, and then that worked. Hopefully. Oh wait, do you mind saving it?
It's saved.
And did it work? It did work. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do real quick.
Yeah, and so like that's the key. Vue allows us to do things really fast and create these, which is one of the big powers of Vue.
That'd be really nice for like a hackathon.
Actually, yes, Vue is super nice at hackathons. Although I haven't done hackathons in a long time. One alpha user, did you start learning programming with Rust? No, I started learning programming with the Bash shell Bash. So it's like shell scripts. And that was a long time ago.
Bash shell scripts. I haven't even like done never maybe a little bit, but like I never really got into doing that. I guess I just didn't need to.
There, when you have the idea of automating as many things as your job as possible, then shell scripts are one of the best tools to have in your toolkit.
I need to get into doing
Did you close the component again?
I did. I was hoping to be able to. There we go. Okay. It was having the save issue again. There we go.
All
So
right.
that's it done.
Yeah. Do you want to close this out, or yeah? I guess let's close it out. Close this out.
So today we got quite a bit done. I'm quite satisfied with the progress. What we ended up doing was giving some style to our humble little streamer schedule. We also ended up fixing an issue with all the styling. Um, it took a little bit to actually get the styling to work because of our routing. But we finally got that. We finally styled it, and then we added the viewness into our web page.
Awesome. Yeah. And the idea here is that we're creating these components, which we'll then be able to choose which one dynamically we want to use, and that will allow us to have different looks, even though we're going to use the same data. Alpha user, you are beginning. This looks extremely complicated. You're going to watch anyway. Well, thank you for watching. I would say that it can look well. Tell me, Kale, because you're new to Vue, and you're how long have you been programming?
4.5 years coming up on 4 years. Let's say 4 years.
4 years. So how complicated would you say this looks to you?
To me, honestly, it doesn't look, like from a distance, it looks like I'm an elite hacker. You know what I'm saying? Like I like all the colors and the way it looks. But on the level of understanding it, it's very simple to me. And I
So
guess it's just because I did it a couple of times, and now it's intuitive. It just feels intuitive right now.
yeah, so the lesson the alpha user and anybody else who's watching who's brand new to programming or thinking about getting to programming, we call them languages because in a way it's kind of like learning a foreign language. At the beginning, if you look at just another language, let's say you only know English and you want to learn German or French, just looking at German or French written out is just completely foreign. With French, you might even recognize some words like look similar because it's influenced English quite a bit, but or there's a shared history. But if you try to like speak it, you don't know how to pronounce any of the words. You don't really know the meanings. It just looks incredibly complicated. But then you begin to actually like learn little bits here and there, and then it just sort of starts falling into place. So that's my suggestion is that learn computer programming a little bit, and every time you learn a little bit something, it makes the learning the next thing easier.
I agree, but I disagree in the fact that you said it's kind of like a real language. In the sense that you described, I agree, but I think learning a new programming language is so much easier than learning a new actual language.
I mean, I would I would basically guess that or my suggestion is to is that the first programming language you write is going to be as difficult as learning a real language. Your
Really?
second programming language is going to be incredibly simple
Huh.
compared to the first language.
Oh,
It's really tough. The more we learn and the longer we do it, the harder it is to remember how difficult it was when we first began.
okay. Yeah, you're right about that.
Are we interested in competitive programming? Kale, I'd be interested in hearing your
Oh
responses
yeah.
there.
I mean, I like I like to do a lot of competitions. Go to hackathons as well as like for school there was like Business Professionals America and there's also Skills USA and there's a bunch of things that you could compete in with code. I didn't do all of them because they required like you to be in a specific class, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm very interested.
For me, I have no real interest in competitive programming. I will do some challenges here and there, to sort of like to practice or for fun, but competitive wise, like putting time into that to get better at like being faster at very specific algorithms, I don't really have any interest at my um, sort of like at my age. I'd rather now just work on providing value for a variety of people. So it's either the clients that the company I'm working for needs, or my own clients that I'm trying to like help out, or just any of you all. Um, but like as just to doing it to like be competitive, I have no interest.
Fair enough.
Your motivation is to compete in ACM ICPC. Well, I wish you great luck in getting there, and hopefully you'll be able to kick butt and do super well.
International Collegiate Programming Contest. Interesting.
Nice. All right,
I've never heard of
what did we do? We styled component and got data into local state. So by the way, this data is actually the local component state.
it. Okay. Cool.
And I'm pushing that up. Really? Ah,
What's the saying?
it was just telling me that I've somehow screwed up my SSH keys.
Uh,
Let me try. Oh, that's what's going on.
oopsies.
All right, so I've got that pushed up. You can go take a look at that. Let's see if I here go to GitHub, streaming overlays.
6 commits, styled component, and got data into
We have
local state.
potential security vulnerabilities in our dependencies already. We'll have to take a look at
Awesome.
that sometime. And then
I don't get
that.
that alert.
Oh, I have it added onto my GitHub, and I don't think you're a real
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So I'll
contributor
let
to
you deal
this.
with that. I'll let you deal with it. I won't
We'll
worry
deal with it
about
eventually.
it. Okay.
Here's a link to the code. I'm going to also archive this video up to YouTube. Kale, you're streaming on YouTube, so it's going to be archived on YouTube already.
In,
We are doing this every single Sunday at 7 a.m. Mountain Time till 9 a.m. Mountain Time.
yep. And it's 8 a.m. Central Time to 10 a.m. Central Time. Standard Time. Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
Whatever Texas is in.
You could find links to where my YouTube or my Twitter down below. If you like this content and you want to get notifications, go ahead and follow me here or YouTube or Twitter or all the places. Where can people find you, Kale?
You can find me on Twitter. You can also find me on my website, kalekirk.com. And that's pretty much the extent of my my links, apart from YouTube.
All right. With that, we're going to have a great rest of our Sundays, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your Sundays and an awesome week. Any last words?
I'll see you Sunday, and I'll see if I can get things done this time in between streams.
All right. Sounds good. With that, have a great day. Bye.
Sweet.